What if, one morning, you woke up to find that every ocean on Earth had turned into lemonade? Not just a little lemon-flavored water, but the perfect balance of tart and sweet, with tiny bubbles dancing on the surface. It would look beautiful, sparkling under the sun like a giant yellow jewel stretching from horizon to horizon. But after the initial excitement, you'd probably notice that the seagulls were acting weird. That's because lemonade isn't exactly part of their diet. And the fish, they'd be in even bigger trouble. Ocean creatures are used to living in salt water, which is carefully balanced to support life. Replace it with sugary, acidic lemonade, and most marine life would be in serious danger. Within days, coral reefs would bleach and die, fish would suffocate, and the oceans would go strangely quiet. Scientists would be panicking, not because they don't like lemonade, but because the entire ocean food chain depends on those tiny plankton at the bottom. And plankton aren't exactly fans of citrus, but the problems wouldn't stop there. The oceans aren't just big swimming pools, they regulate the Earth's climate. Salt water absorbs and redistributes heat around the planet. Replace that with lemonade, and you change how the oceans move. Currents like the Gulf Stream could slow or stop, throwing weather patterns into chaos. Some places might get colder, others hotter. Hurricanes might become unpredictable, forming in weird places like off the coast of Canada. And then there's the smell. Sure, at first the oceans would smell like a giant lemonade stand, but give it a week or two under the hot sun, and all that sugar would start to ferment. The world's coastlines would reek like the aftermath of a failed summer party. And speaking of sugar, there's a lot of it now in the water. We're talking billions of tons of sugar. Rain evaporating from lemonade oceans would carry tiny amounts of sugar into the clouds, meaning your next rainfall might be faintly sweet. That sounds nice until you realize sticky rain would coat everything, cars, streets, and your hair, with a thin, syrupy film. Plus, ants would love it. Cities could be swarmed with sugar-hungry insects the size of your thumb. Of course, people would try to make the best of it. Lemonade-based tourism would explode. Beaches would be packed with people holding oversized straws, giant floating cups, and inflatable lemon slices. Entire industries would pop up around bottling and selling authentic ocean lemonade. But that's assuming it's safe to drink. You see, before the lemonade appeared, the oceans were full of, well, fish poop, and that's still in there. Just because it's now lemon-flavored doesn't make it clean. Sure, filters could help, but unless you like your lemonade with a hint of plankton, you might want to stick to bottled. Ships would also face a new challenge. Saltwater helps ships float a little better than freshwater. Lemonade, being slightly denser than freshwater, might still be fine, but all the sugar would gunk up engines and propellers. Ports would have to constantly clean sticky residues off everything, and sailors might find themselves fending off swarms of bees instead of seagulls. And then there's one more problem: gravity. Okay, maybe not gravity exactly, but mass. Lemonade is less dense than seawater, meaning that replacing the oceans would slightly lower the overall weight of the planet's surface water. That could cause tiny changes in sea level, and even the Earth's rotation speed. You probably wouldn't notice, but astronomers with very precise equipment might. They had also noticed that the moon's tides would act differently. Without the salty density of seawater, tidal waves could behave in odd, unpredictable ways, maybe even sloshing in patterns no one has seen before. In the long run, humanity might adapt. New species of marine life could evolve to live in lemonade oceans, perhaps sugar-resistant jellyfish or lemon-loving algae. We might even start farming these oceans for sugar instead of fish. But the Earth would be a very different place. The smell, the stickiness, the loss of marine biodiversity, and the bizarre weather would make it a sticky, unpredictable planet. And as fun as a giant lemonade ocean sounds, after a few weeks of swatting sugar-crazed insects and cleaning syrup off your car every time it rains, you might find yourself craving the good old boring blue seas again. Because as it turns out, lemonade is perfect in a glass on a hot day. But not so much when you're trying to sail a boat across it.